The hate army troll.
It's the hate army,
bro. The hate army.
Shout out to hate.
Good vibes to the
Shout
hate
out to
army.
hate.
Shout out to hate.
Shout out
Shout
for
out to
hate.
hate.
Shout out to hate.
Shout out for
Shout
hate.
out for hate.
Before we get to the week schedule, and before we get to everything, let's cover a couple quick things. Number one, all right, I talked about something on the Daily Wrap the other night. I felt like I wanted to be transparent with all of you, but not all of you watched the Daily Wrap, so I'm very briefly going to cover it right now. It's not going to be something that I'm going to be talking about every day or harping on, all right? Last week, there was a distinct dip in support when it came to tips. In reality, when it came to like memberships and super chats and everything, things were great last week, and I was very happy about that. But tips, for some odd reason, really declined last week on my live streams. Now, for those who don't know, and I couldn't imagine how you don't, I'm not someone who has paid product placements. I'm not someone who has these partnerships. I don't get paid to play particular games. I don't take those kind of opportunities. I just make content for you. You like it. You support it through crowdfunding. That's how I make my living. And definitely there's ups and downs to that, okay? But now we're in the fall gaming season. The biggest games of the year are starting to come out. And this is the time of year when typically I got to spend a lot more money on a lot of games and things that are coming out. My expenses shoot up. But also, kind of in tandem with that, I also usually see an increase in support. I would say the support did come, but it came in methods where I won't see any help from that in like a month and a half, okay? Just for those who don't know, super chats, you know, memberships and things like that help a ton. They're long-term support for this channel that absolutely is needed, and I'm very, very grateful for it. Thank you. I mean, I got a lot of gifted memberships. We're over 560 now, which is excellent. You know, at one point we were struggling just to keep it above 500, so thank you for that. But tips are really important because tips are essentially my liquidity. When you tip me on a stream, that's something I get right away. That's something I can use to pay a bill, to go grocery shopping, to have a nice dinner with my wife, which we did yesterday for her birthday, to buy the new games coming out, okay? So what happened was last week I saw a distinct dip in tips, and I don't know why that was. There didn't seem to be particularly any reason. You know, the launch day of Starfield, things were great, and then after that, it was like every single stream, we weren't even hitting a tier 1 tips goal of $50 like ever. So because of that, I was looking at the end of the week, I was like, oh my god, like I didn't expect it to be this tight, but it was, okay? And it's okay, it's not the end of the world. All I'm trying to do is spread awareness. If you were thinking of supporting my streams this week, a great way of supporting my streams this week would be tipping me, okay? That would help a lot. You know, long-term support's been great, and I obviously am grateful for that. And anyone, please, if you're going to super chat or do a membership or gifted membership, please, by all means, I'm not looking to give towards an amount. I'm just saying I definitely saw a distinct dip. It wasn't one stream or two streams. It was like all the streams last week except for the one premiere stream of Starfield had a distinct dip in support of tips. And I was like, that's concerning when you see a pattern. Not when it's just a one-off thing or a couple things, but a pattern. You know, I'm not in a situation like these other big content creators where I can be in like a rut for weeks and weeks. It'll start to hurt, okay? Thankfully, it's not like it was years ago. Years ago, there were situations where I was so financially distraught, I had to have crazy marathons to try to pay bills and stuff. It's not like that anymore. I want you guys to understand that, and I've tried to make that very clear to you this year. Things are much better this year than they have been in a while, thanks to you. Okay, this is not, you know, me being, oh my god, completely financially distraught. But obviously, when you see an alarming pattern like what happened last week, I want to call it out and let's let everyone know, awareness, here's what's going on. I'm not asking for anything above and beyond what you normally would do to support. I'm just saying if you have an option, you want to choose, gee, how should I support? Tips would help a lot right now. Tips would be stupendous for me to afford all the stuff. Particularly, I've got to get Mortal Kombat 1 Collector's Edition in the next week, and that's $100. Okay, actually, isn't it $100 plus tax, right? So actually, it's like $120, all right? Plus other, you know, other things that will be coming up very shortly that are going to cost money. So thank you in advance to anyone who does it and helps out. I really, really appreciate that. And thanks to those who don't take it the wrong way. Because whenever I try to be matter-of-fact, transparent with my audience about things like this,
there's morons who say, you see, he's e-begging and he's doing all these horrible things.
Did you hear me once e-beg right now? I'm just explaining the situation and saying, if you could help in that way, please do. I'm not telling anyone, hey, open your bank accounts, rip open your wallets and purses and dump them on a table in front of me. That's not what I said. I'm spreading awareness of, yeah, it would help to have a little bit more in the tips department right now because of the way that this business runs, and I'm a small-time guy. I'm not some giant guy with huge ad revenue and huge views or whatever. I am reliant on my audience, all right? So thank you to those who understand, and don't try to spin it into some kind of bullshit, the sky is falling story that it's not, because that's not what I'm intending, all right? So now that that's out of the way, now I can move on to positive things. I just wanted to get it out of the way, and now we can focus on all the good stuff. Okay? Good. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to get that off my chest and out of the way, so now we can move on to better things. Okay? Cool. Okay. All right, well, guys, that's what I got so far. If any other contributions come in, I'll shout them out. Now, another reminder, guys, today, the best way to support me would absolutely be tipping. As I mentioned at the beginning of this podcast, for some weird reason, last week tips actually really slowed down to a crawl. I barely was even hitting any tips goals at all over the course of the week. And I don't want this to be a pattern that hurts. So if you were thinking of contributing today and you had a choice, if you could tip me, that would be great. If I could hit like one tips goal. Here's my goals for the week. Because what I should start doing is outlining goals for the week. Okay? Here are my 2 major goals for this week. Goal number 1, I'd like to hit 600 members by the end of the week. We're just starting. We got 6 days of streaming. If by the end of this week I could hit 600 members, that would be an accomplishment I'd be proud of and say thank you all. All right? The other accomplishment, to at least hit 1 tips goal a day. Every day I'm dual streaming this week. Okay? So as long as I'm hitting that tier 1 tips goal at least once a week or once a day, that's great. All right? I'm not expecting it every stream or anything like that. But at least if I could hit it once a day, that would be stupendous. And then I would be like, you know what? Things are going decent. Things are going good. All right? So those are my goals for the week. 600 members by the end of the streaming week and hit at least 1 tier 1 tips goal per day of 2 streams a day. Fair enough? And I'll be bringing, that should be the goal. I should have concrete goals. And I think maybe not having concrete goals has hurt me. Should say, these are the goals we're actually working toward. This is what we're trying to do. Can we do it? Right? So I think we should start doing that a little bit more, rather than everything being ambiguous, right? So we'll see what happens. All right, but thank you. Hopefully we'll get a good, kind of rejuvenation and get back on track this week. Like I said, last week, memberships were great. We went from like low 500s all the way up to 560 members. 0 complaints there. Super chats were actually high last. We had a few really large super chats that help out a lot. But again, it's the tips that concern me when I have a lot of stuff I need to buy in the next few weeks. So, okay? All right, guys. Phaser, it's all good. Here's the thing I am going to say. If you're someone who likes the content, you enjoy it, and you can't go above and beyond and support it, don't ever feel bad and don't ever apologize. I'm not asking for anyone to go crazy, ever. I want you to understand that. That's not the case. That's what the idiots say out there. They're trying to be dickheads and put words in my mouth that I've never said. It's not about that at all, all right? My philosophy, if I'm putting out the great content and you guys are enjoying it, the reciprocation is going to come. I don't have to sit here and cry and complain and scream about it. I'm not doing that. I'm just spreading a little bit of awareness of what's going on, and hopefully the help will come, But I'm not saying, hey, empty your wallets, empty your pocketbooks and purses. That's crazy. I would never say that. I respect you guys too much. That's also why I don't monetize you all the time with ads. That's why I don't do product placements, because I don't believe that's what my content is for. My content will always be free and meaningful, and hopefully, I can continue to make a living doing it like I've done for 15 years. And if something comes up like this, I can be transparent with you guys, and people don't take it the wrong way. Say, oh, it's disrespectful. What did I do of disrespect today exactly? Nothing. Only morons would say that because they want to spin things in a negative light, right? Okay.
Tipping me helps me more than anything.